Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well.
First one is I always start like a little introduction of the person I'm doing one with. So yeah, um, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Daniel Jongma. So cool thing about my last name is the J is pronounced like a Y, so it's Jongma. Um, but I've been doing verticals since February 2023. I've done heroes, I've done villains, I've had a bunch of wonderful experiences on set and met a lot of wonderful people as well through the journey. Before I was an actor, fun fact, I was an accountant. So I have an accounting degree. I was a bit of a number nerd myself. And yeah, when I'm not doing acting, I like to play Minecraft. That's a bit of fun. I'm a big animal lover, so I've got a cat. I grew up with a bunch of dogs. Um, but yeah, that's about me. Sydney, Australia, I guess is probably worth mentioning as well.
Yeah. Um, and the second one is for the people who do know you. Is there something they don't know?
The people who do know me, is there something that they don't know? That's a good question. Well, I'm pretty like open about my passions. Like I just, yeah. Um, I don't know what they don't know. I think I think probably the biggest thing that people don't know is that I still get nervous. Um, as an actor, I mean, the idea is that you pretend like you're fully confident and you're very ready to go and that nothing scares you. But I think every time I jump on a new project, especially the first day on that new project where it's new people, it's a new character, new scripts, new crew, new direct everything. Um, day one, usually when I get a bit nervous, and after that, it's pretty fun and pretty chill. But I guess that's probably something people don't know because I try not to let on as best I can.
I think that's understandable if you're doing something new with new people.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. But I think everybody gets nervous,
Yeah.
but just us actors, like our job is to make it look easy. That's if it looks easy, that means we're doing our job. But I think on the inside, thinking of the mentality, I think all of us get nervous. All of us are always questioning our decisions and like, oh, should I be that sad in my character, or is he a bit more angry, or maybe I could have done this differently or done that differently. We're all always kind of like hyper analyzing, especially our own work, which I think we don't talk about too much.
Next one.
Yeah,
The next one is: did you always wanted to be an actor, or did you have other dreams?
that's a brilliant question. I mean, I kind of started the answer to that question when I
Yeah.
when I mentioned that I wasn't an actor originally. That I went into accounting straight after finishing school. I think there was always a passion to do acting. I was in the school band in primary school when I was like a kid, when I was very young, and I think that was my first taste of performing, of being on a stage, of people watching me do something. And then in year four, I got into the school dance troupe. So I think year four for the global audience in Australia, I think we're around 9 or 10 years old. So I tried dancing. I haven't done much dancing in my professional career. But that was then like I no longer had an instrument in front of me. It was me performing with just me and my body. So that was eye-opening as well. And then further on, a couple years later, I did my first play, my first musical. And then throughout high school, so from that age bracket of like 13 to 18, um, I got into drama class and I started doing like a bunch more plays, a bunch more like musicals, and I just loved it. I loved the play, the fun that you get out of acting. But I think the thing that stopped me was I just didn't realize that it could be a real career. It was very much to me, I was like, oh, that was fun, but that's games. That's
Yeah,
not something that I can really do as a job. And then verticals came along, and suddenly there's regular work and there's lots of projects, and they're willing to take a chance on someone who's like not already in the industry. And yeah, I just went headfirst into it, and that's what I've been doing the past 2 years.
you're doing great.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
that's you can see that. Yeah, the next one you already talked about a little bit about it. Sorry,
That's
but
all right.
that's it. The question is, do you ever regret giving up being a accountant to do verticals?
Nope, not at all. I find verticals very fun, and for the same reason that I get nervous doing verticals is the reason that I love it. You know what I mean? Like it's the constantly pushing me out of my comfort zone and moving forward into the industry, playing new characters, trying to empathize with new stories that maybe I didn't really connect with at first, but then someone's cast me in the role, so I really want to like do it justice. And I think that the best thing about acting is that it's always fresh. I think verticals, we talk a little bit about how a lot of the stories are recycled content. So it's this story and then another vertical is very similar in terms of the script.
Yeah,
But I think one thing that I really do try to do is make my characters have at least one little bit of like uniqueness, even if they are very similar to a character I might have done before as the classic hero who's kind of the love interest in a rom-com style character. So for that reason, I think verticals are just exciting. Whereas accounting, I found very much it was every month you just restart the same process. Whatever you did last month, you do this month. And that it was safe and it was comfortable, but it wasn't fun and exciting to the extent that I was hoping that it would be.
so basically not your thing anymore.
No. I mean, I might go back or do a little bit of accounting at some point, but if verticals keep going the way that they're going, I hope that I never have to.
You can do your own thing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, this little bit the same question, and that's when and why did you choose to play in verticals?
Why did I choose to play in verticals? That's actually a really great question. I think I never really chose to be a vertical actor. My first professional on-screen acting role was in a vertical in February 2023, and since then, verticals have kind of just been the roles that I apply for and the roles that I've been lucky enough to be able to play. I have applied for a bunch of, shall we call them horizontal, classic kind of cinema content for feature films, for like big budget Hollywood stuff. But so far, those just haven't worked out the same way that verticals have. And I think that's one of the brilliant things about the vertical industry is that they took me literally with nothing but a headshot. So I just had a photo, and they were like, "All right, we'll give you a go. You can do an audition, and we'll see how you go." And then ended up doing that vertical from the beginning. Whereas I think when it comes to the big feature films, there's such a gap between a new actor who's just trying to kind of figure out the industry and then moving into Hollywood big budget. And verticals kind of fit that gap and allow a lot of young actors like myself to really train, progress their network, their skill, their experience, and also just give them content, like showreel content I now have from a bunch of verticals that I've been lucky to be a part of. So that's that's the brilliant part of it.
What was your first vertical, if I can ask that?
Yeah, it was called A Matter of Sin and Love, and it's on Flex TV.
Okay.
It was actually the second vertical that was released on Flex TV because that was the very beginning of the industry. So now I think the platforms, as all platforms do, has hundreds or maybe even thousands of different series. But it was the second one ever put on the platform, which is a pretty cool thing.
So yeah. And the next one is: do you see yourself doing a real werewolf series?
Werewolf. I would love to do a werewolf. I did actually do one werewolf series. I think it's called Lady Alpha's Undercover Romance. I believe it was released to Shortmax about a year ago. But it wasn't like a crazy werewolf series. The werewolf part of it was like pretty like downplayed. Like there was no CGI or anything. We just called each other's alphas, betas. I think my character was an omega, so I was the very bottom of the pack on that one. But fun experience. It was good. I'd love to do a werewolf series that has like where werewolves is kind of the main part of it. But I think beyond that, I'd be more excited to do vampires. Vampires and werewolves are like the holy grail of like fantasy novels, that kind of thing. So I reckon the vampire, if I had to pick, I'd go for vampire.
Yeah.
But werewolf, definitely open to it. It'd be fun.
And why vampire? Just like
I don't
what you
know.
said.
I just like it. I just like the idea of vampires. Werewolves, I think, the wolf animal. If you compare vampires and werewolves, and I hope I'm right in saying this, but I feel like werewolves are more focused on the hunt and focused on kind of the aggression of the hierarchy. Whereas I think vampires, the vibe that I get from vampires is that they're more cold, they're more calculating, they're more strategic. And I think that the mental game that vampires are able to play while still having like some pretty intense physical prowess, that mental game that vampires have, I think would be a good opportunity to develop a very complex character. Whereas in werewolves, I feel like that opportunity would be probably still present, but not as present as in vampires. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like vampires versus werewolves? What are the main differences to you?
Um, I'm so I like vampires, so to watch social. Um, yeah, I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Vampires even more than werewolves. Also,
nice.
just because werewolves are so much already on the platforms.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen. I think yeah, there's definitely a lot more werewolves than vampires. Still a few
Yeah,
vampire ones that have come out that are quite good quality and good ones. But especially in the beginning of Verticals, it was everyone was trying to do a vampire and a werewolf one. I think recently I've started to see a couple of medieval ones, which is really exciting because from the beginning I have been saying that I want to do a medieval one. So fingers crossed, I'll be able to jump on one of those. And my dream role is just to get a sword. I just want a sword and swing it around on the screen. I think that'd be so much fun. So
you answer
hopefully soon, fingers crossed.
you answer now one of the questions.
Oh no,
The next
sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun.
because the those was what is your dream role to play?
Okay, my dream role. My dream role would be a kind of like medieval
Yeah,
and Prince Charming, except he's the villain, but it's kind of like Loki if there's any kind of Marvel fans that watch this clip, where Loki is kind of a villain that has his redemption arc. And so I would want him to pretend to be the hero, but really be the villain. But then in like a second series or like a sequel, show his journey into redeeming himself and basically becoming the hero that he pretended to be in the beginning. I think that would be a really interesting arc, but definitely set in medieval times. I want to be swinging a sword. I want to like run, well, not run, but like gallop across the screen on a horse. In like a suit of armor with my sword raised, the sun coming up on the horizon. That's the vision.
Uh, the next one is, what is your favorite vertical you have done so far yourself, and why?
Oh, big question. Big question. I think there's a few highly commended ones. So there's a few ones that aren't quite number one, but that I did love the experience for various reasons. I might have met a bunch of really cool people. There might have been a character that I really related with. It might have just been a cool story. But I think the one that I'm most proud of and the one that I like resonate the strongest with hasn't actually come out yet. So I shot it about, I think, 3 weeks ago. I shot it and it's full. I play this gangster character and it's full of like stunts and fights. And his arc is kind of that dark to light. So he's a very kind of cold-blooded gangster, but then his heart softens as the series goes on. And that was a really fun arc to play. But the shots and the cinematography, the way that they were able to capture the footage with drones and with um, really well planned and executed shots, I think is this vertical will be on another level, which is really exciting. So I don't have a title yet. I can't share anything more specific about that, but it is like of all the verticals I've done, it is a cut above the rest.
Is that the one you shared that little clip from on your Instagram? I
Yep.
thought so,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely. You can see those clips on my Instagram. I think I've got like 4 or 5 of them specifically from that shoot. Um, yeah, I had so much fun on it, like so much fun. And they gave me so much opportunity to just run away with the character. Like I had a lot of trust put in me by the director as well. And I think as an actor, like it's such a freeing thing when you have a director that trusts you to kind of build the character. And they're obviously still there if I had questions. And there were some times where I was like, hey, how did this go? Like, do we feel like we want to do it a different way? And they could obviously like direct me and give me that feedback. But having that trust gave me a lot of confidence in the character as well. And I think it allowed me to do a performance that I'm very, very proud of. So I'm very excited to see the final edit. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited to see it. The next one is, if you could write your own vertical and play a role in it, which vertical would you write and what for role?
Wow. I mean, if I could write a medieval one, I'd be doing that for sure. We just make the dream. But no, I have actually written a vertical. So recently, I've been spending some time at home between shoots at the moment, and I've been scripting, and I've gone through a bunch of different options and tried to find a script that really works, and I've got one ready to go. My character that I'll be playing, he is an ex police officer. And a year before the story begins, he is framed and basically goes on the run. And the story starts where he's about to get captured by the police after a year of evading the police. And something pretty incredible happens that I can't share because it would spoil the beginning. But it's a really cool scene. The focus that I had when I built this script was two things. The first thing is making it character focused. So in this script that I've written, I've got 8 kind of main characters, which is quite rare. Most verticals run with only two. You've just got the male hero and the female hero,
Yeah,
and then the villains are kind of like just supporting. They don't really have a big part of it. But I'm building up all these 8 characters because it's going to have sequels, and those sequels are going to follow different characters, kind of like the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, but it's obviously set in the modern day. And the second thing that I really wanted to focus on with this script was writing the scenes so that they are specifically crafted for a vertical frame. I think with the rise of verticals, a lot of the traditional filmmakers in the entertainment industry across the world have spoken about the limits of vertical frames and said, "Oh, it's so frustrating trying to shoot in a vertical frame because of this reason. That's a disadvantage." And, "Oh, well, I want to try and capture this, but it's too difficult in vertical. And I think there hasn't really been a loud enough conversation about what are the advantages, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, like on a vertical frame, things that go up the screen or down the screen and movement that goes up or down can be really impactful. The use of levels between two characters to show kind of like a power dynamic. If one character is looming over another, that's really powerful in a vertical frame. And
Yeah.
these are like exciting things that I think really need to start at the beginning. They need to start at the scripting part of the process, because by the time that script gets given to a producer who hires like a DOP and camera operators, they are kind of limited in what they can do because the script is written. So we've seen some creative shots come out in the last couple of months that are really, really exciting, and I think the vertical industry is really like on the up and up in exploring how we can make these shots really cinematic. But that's something that I've prioritized from the scripting point. I've already kind of got ideas of kind of where we can go with some very exciting cinematography.
Uh, the next is about when you have free time, what do you like to do?
Well, to start with, write my script, refine my script. That's what I've been doing with a lot of my free time. I've started getting into casting. I say started, I'm in it already. So I do casting for verticals as well now. So I work as a casting director for that. Um, Beyond that, I mean, I like to spend time with my girlfriend, spend time with our cat. That's fun as well. Uh, I'm Australian, so it's a bit classic of me to say, but I like to go to the beach. So yesterday, I spent a bit of time at the beach, which was nice. Um, but yeah, beyond that, I like to explore, whether that's explore a new location or explore a new skill. Um, I really gravitate towards doing things that are new, that I don't already know, meeting people that I haven't met before. Um, yeah, just kind of sharing experiences. I really do enjoy that as well.
Before I go to the next step, do you have questions for me?
I guess my biggest question is what's your vision for your account? Where would you like to be in 6 months, 12 months? What's the plan?
Phew. Great question.
It's a big one, I know.
Yeah. Um, I don't know really. I'm just like a type of girl who see how it goes. But when I started this account, I had a few goals I wanted to reach and I already reached them. So yeah,
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to set bigger goals, reach for the stars.
fine.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Do you want to go to next?
Yeah.
What What do you do when you have a off day mentally and you still have to, yeah, work?
Oh, big thing. I think acting as a job, it's a very emotional kind of career because when we get on camera, a lot of stuff is happening behind our eyes, right? In our brain and our thoughts, we're remembering lines, we're remembering our blocking. So, at what point do I have to take a step, or do I have to pretend to slap someone, or how close are they? If they're too close, like I don't actually hit them. And that's just one of like many things that we might be thinking when we go to date. And I think that because there's so much happening behind our eyes, it can be very overwhelming when we have an off day, something's happening in real life. Like we might have I might have a family tragedy that happened the morning that I have to go to a shoot. And the reality is like you just got to keep working. And I think that that's not specific to acting even. It's every career. I mean, something happens in your personal life, but I mean, the work still needs to get done. So I think my personal strategy for coping with when something like that happens, when I'm really not feeling it and I've just got to go to set, is I like to have little moments of quiet. I think for me that's really helpful. It doesn't have to be a long moment, even just like if I can get 2 minutes in a dark room where I just deprive myself of all kind of senses, where like I'm not really hearing anything. I'm trying to clear my mind, eyes closed, and I'm just being. That helps me to kind of center myself emotionally, because centering yourself emotionally is kind of the most important thing about acting. If I'm angry about something or I'm sad about something, and then I go to a scene where I have to be happy, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. So you kind of have to compartmentalize, and you put your personal issues or things that are happening, your thoughts, you just put them in a box, and you I kind of just push them aside, and when the day ends, I go home, and then I can deal with it, whatever it may be. But yeah, to simplify that answer, because I kind of droned on for a bit, it's really just push it aside, take a breath, and do my best with the day.
The next one is, with who would you love to work with that you haven't already worked with?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think I have a list of like 30 people, because in this is something that people might not know, but in the Australian kind of vertical industry, um, most of us have already worked with each other,
Hmm?
because in terms of the size of it in LA, for example, in the US, there's like 40, 50 verticals going all at once, which is a lot. In Australia, maybe two. I think it's picking up a little bit. Like recently, I think we had three running concurrently in Sydney, but like it's a whole city of all these actors, but only like three productions. So when I look at like all the stuff happening on the apps and the platforms, and I'm seeing all these actors, a lot of them are based in LA. And so the list is kind of almost too long to give you a clear answer. But literally any of the vertical actors that are running around LA, I think that would be awesome to meet them, to work with them. And I've had the opportunity to work with a few LA actors. I've been lucky enough to do some international verticals where we get those connections. But yeah, literally any of those LA actors would be amazing.
Do you most of the time shoot in Sydney?
Yep. Oh,
Most.
not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Sydney and China. They're the two big ones. But yeah, in the last 6 months, I think I've done more in China than I've done in Australia, which is pretty cool.
Next one is, if you listen to any music, and if you are, which artist or song is your favorite?
I've got I've got two. I like to listen to just rock. I enjoy that. That's the kind of music that gets me to the gym, gets me fired up, ready to go. And I think in that I really like the Strokes, um, Franz Ferdinand, uh, anything around that. There's a lot of them. I think that I really enjoy. I like Blur. Blur is good. Um, Yeah, anything around then. But then again, I sometimes like emotional music, and an artist that I really appreciate is Regina Spektor. So when I'm doing my script writing, she has just a whole bunch of songs. Some of them are a little bit um, not not classic songs, so they're like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe her tone, but it's very unique, and it is full of emotion and stories. So Regina Spektor is kind of my go-to for when I'm just trying to like activate my brain and start thinking, or if I need to get into a character and I just need to like pull out emotions. There's a bunch of different songs from Regina Spektor that I can use to pull that out.
I get it. The next is about, if you could go and visit any country in the world, which one would you visit?
Oh, good question. I think I'd like to go to Iceland. I think that'd be really fun. I haven't really thought about this that much. I don't. Yeah, yeah. I think Iceland has like volcanoes and stuff, which is pretty cool. I've never been to a volcano. If not that, maybe Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Hawaii looks pretty fun. I wouldn't mind going to Hawaii. But no, my favorite place that I've ever traveled in the world, which I've been to, so I'd like to go again at some point, but I'm in no rush to, is the Amalfi Coast in Italy. It is beautiful. I went to a place called Furore Beach, and
Yeah.
it is just the most surreal, stunning place you could ever wake up in. It's amazing.
This is my favorite question. The next one. If you could give your younger self advice, what would you advise him?
Oh. Yeah, I immediately had a thought in my mind, and I wanted to consider it because, as you said, it's your favorite question, so I want to make sure I'm giving you a good answer. But I think that the best advice I could give my younger self is to take more chances and back yourself. And what I mean by that is when I've had opportunities kind of pass me by, for example, getting into acting earlier, or like just anything kind of that happens as life goes on. I think we all kind of see, oh, there's this thing happening. Maybe I should apply to that. Oh, it's too hard. I was never going to get it anyway. That's kind of the mentality that I had not going into acting straight after school. I thought, oh, acting's too difficult. I'm just another one of 100,000 people who want to be an actor. So it's probably just not worth my time. I might as well do something else. And I think that that mentality is something that I'd like to shift in my younger self if I could, and just follow my dreams. Like that's, I guess that's the simpler way of putting it. If I wanted to do something, every time that voice in my head told me no, to say, well, we'll just give it a go. So long as it's safe. I'm not talking about doing anything that's unsafe, but I think things like volunteering to go up on the stage and performing something, even though you might not feel like you're ready, like you're never really going to be fully ready for things like that. There's always something you can change, something you can fix. And I think just giving my younger self a little bit of a push and a little bit of confidence that you might not perform well today, but by performing today, you'll learn the lessons, you'll get the experience, and you'll receive the feedback that are going to make your performance tomorrow even better. Whereas if you just don't perform, you're not going to get any better. And I think that's something that I've had to learn about verticals. You literally just have to jump in. You really have to jump in, and that's how you improve.
I think we have that in common because
Yeah.
I wanted to say that to my younger self as well.
Wow. Yeah. I think it's a sentiment a lot of people share.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think it's easy to say from the older self position, from our position, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, "Oh, you should have been more confident way back when," because you've kind of already crossed that bridge now. Um, but yeah, no, I reckon the advice I'd give to any young actor, not just myself, is just to give it a crack. Put yourself out there, I think is the biggest thing, and keep putting yourself out there because there are going to be, I mean, I've had these times, but there are going to be times where you do embarrass yourself, where you do kind of put yourself out there and then you think after you're like, oh, why did I do that? You know, like you get on stage and you're not rehearsed, you're not ready to go at all. But then you need a bit more time, you need a um bit more practice. And I think that without the threat of needing to be ready, never gonna like force yourself to progress either.
Yeah. The next is what are three things you always take with you to set?
Three things I always take with me to set. One thing I've had to start taking is my shaver. Because I mean, in Australia, we only do like 10-hour work days. So if I shave at the beginning of the day, I don't really like if I'm clean shaven, it doesn't grow fast enough. But in some of the shooting I've been doing in China, we're shooting like 20 hours. I think the longest day I did was 22 and a half hours in one day. And the day before was like 19 hours. So like we were averaging like long shoot days. And it was fun. Like they were definitely supporting us, but it was a long day. And by the end of 20 hours, like I've started to grow a little bit of stubble again, and you can see it on camera. So I definitely, oh, I did a little thumbs up emoji. That's kind of cool. I didn't mean to do that. But so now I have to take my shaver just in case for those long shoot days. Because 10 hours is okay, but 20 hours it gets a little bit fuzzy. So that'd be number one. Number two would be water. I've started taking just a water bottle. There's always, almost always like water on set, but you never know if you're on location and then someone forgets to bring cups or like something might happen. And I think staying hydrated is a really important thing on set for everyone's health, but especially as an actor, because if you're dehydrated, you get a headache, you're not performing at your best.
Yeah.
And I think that the mental game, as I was mentioning earlier, the mental game in acting is such a strong one. Like you need to be switched on, remembering your lines in character. So in order to be 100% focused, you have to be hydrated. Beyond that, I think also your skin just looks better on camera when you're hydrated. When you're dry, it's not so nice. Number three, I don't know. Those are kind of my two big ones. Number three, maybe a snack. You never know. Production might not have snacks that you like. Often they do have like a craft table with some nice stuff or some coffees or some little like muesli bars or something like that. But yeah, if I want to bring a snack just to make sure, I love to snack on set. When I have like a snack, it's a good day, you know? Because it's that mental thing, right? Like if you eat something that's nice when you're working hard, it puts you in that like happy zone. You know what I mean? So that's, I guess that would be number three.
And what is your favorite snack?
Favorite snack? It is chocolate licorice bullets. So it's basically like a little pellet of licorice
Yeah.
and then coated in chocolate. And it's beautiful. It's sweet. I can chew it. Um, and yeah, I if I'm not careful, I go through a whole bag in like 2 minutes. It's a problem. So I have to limit myself a little bit. But no, I do love them. They would be my favorite.
I think everyone loves chocolate.
Definitely chocolate. Licorice, I feel like there's some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
But chocolate, I think that's an easy sell to a lot of people.
Yeah. The next one, a part of it you already answered, and that is if you had to recommend a vertical one with you and one without you, which one would you recommend?
A good question. One with me, I would say, is wait for this recent one that I've shot because
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it. Um, One without me, I don't know. I don't really watch verticals personally. The only verticals that I see are just kind of the occasional clips that I get kind of on Instagram from the people and the fan accounts like yourself that I follow. Um, and I'm blanking, and I can't think of a single name of one. Um, this is a bit telling, isn't it? I should have some, shouldn't I? But no, I don't. I don't know. I could recommend actors or actresses to watch that have done stuff that I'm not a part of.
That's
But
also okay.
yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Was that? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can. Sorry. Um, an actress that I worked with that's absolutely brilliant. Her name is JC Ann.
Yeah.
She's done a bunch of stuff. I recently did a project with her that came out called, I think it's on NetShort. It's called The Gold Digging Bride's Fatal Mistake. And so anything with JC in, she's a brilliant actress. Definitely kind of in the top list of the ones that I've worked with. Um, who else? I think also Alex Picton, who I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Alex Picton is a brilliant actor as well. Anything that he's in, is awesome. I think the one that he did a couple months ago that went really well was called "The Heiress Blacklisted Her Husband."
Yeah.
That one was on Real Short. And yeah, he was incredible on that, did really well. But anything that he's in is gonna be brilliant.
We have four more questions. Yeah. What do you hope to achieve in the future, career-wise or personal-wise?
Big question. Very big question. I think career-wise, I would really like to be part of the I would like to be part of the vertical industry in the sense. I'm gonna rephrase that. I would like to steer the vertical industry as it progresses and be part of the kind of front runners in the industry who are creating content that pushes the boundaries of what's already established. So, like I was mentioning with the script that I've written, the whole idea of that is to foreground the best parts of a vertical frame and to use that to its advantage, and also to run a multi-step series that really focuses on developing strong characters that viewers can relate to. Because I feel like verticals, they're so quick. Like you start and then they finish, and it's like, oh, okay, those characters are gone. They're gone forever. We're never going to see them again. And I think if the character is well written and well received by fans, they'd want to see more.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'd like to see more in the industry as well, where we're not just taking an actor and being like, oh, this actor is in 8 different things, but we're really attaching that like character to the actor as well. And you follow that character through a bunch of different situations and different events. Because I think that if a character has depth to them, that's something that the fans would love to see. That's the kind of feedback that I've seen on a lot of accounts as well. Like it's such a
Yeah.
shame the amount of times for some of my series that I've received messages saying, "Oh, when's the sequel?" Like, "Oh, we'd love to see you and this other character kind of have another journey," and it's just not going to happen for a lot of them.
Mm.
Which is a shame because like I think it'd be fun. So I think that's what I want to achieve. I want to help build the vertical industry as it progresses and it's constantly expanding. We're getting so many more people viewing verticals as a mainstream media now. In the beginning, 2 years ago, people were like, "This is weird. Like this is strange content. Like this is like Wattpad and TikTok and I don't know if I like it kind of vibe." That's the feedback I heard from a lot of people. They're like, "Ah, it's not my speed." But those same people are now looking at verticals and getting into it and really starting to appreciate the value that they really have. And I think that there's so much more potential. So career wise, I'd really like to be part of the team that helps shape the industry as it goes forward into the future. Um, but in terms of personal life, I think just growing and developing as a person, experiencing new things, learning new things, um, yeah, building up relationships and friendships, but always keeping in mind that I want to get out of my comfort zone, that I want to learn, I want to experience new things, and that is every time I feel comfortable and I feel safe, as much as that's a nice warm feeling, that's a bit of a sign to me to be like, okay, try something new. Even if it's just a little hobby, it doesn't have to go anywhere. Just give it a crack so that you've had that experience. And I think that'll also support me as an actor as well as I progress and improve in my acting ability. The ability to empathize with different walks of life and different experiences. And I could never have the same experience as all the characters because half the characters I play are billionaires, and so that's going to be pretty difficult. But I think trying as much as I can to relate to those characters is a lot easier the more experiences I personally have in my personal life that I can bring into the character as well. So it kind of merges and helps each other.
The next one is, if you had to describe yourself in a few words, what would those be?
How many words do I have?
What do you want?
I don't know. We'll try and pick words. We won't do too many. I think excited is the word that most describes me right now, because I'm looking forward to the future and I just see so much potential and so many cool things that are going to happen, hopefully in my life, but just in the industry itself. So I think excited is definitely on there. I think analytical would be something that is just always been me. Um, in school, like I was always very switched on when it came to like work and that kind of thing. I mean, the reason why I went into accounting as opposed to any other corporate career was because that was very, very analytical. Like I could look at the numbers and I saw the story that they were telling. Um, and I think I've like applied that as well to the way that I do my acting work. Like I don't write a lot of notes in my scripts, or I don't highlight a lot of things, but when I see my character and when I feel that character kind of go through me, there are hundreds of thoughts that go through my brain of he's doing this because of that, and this is flowing through there, and there is just a cloud of like a spider web of that character just kind of manifesting itself in my brain before I then someone calls action and then I become the character. So excited, analytical. We'll try and get a third one. I'm gonna go with talkative. I'm gonna go with talkative. I don't know if maybe you picked this up already
Yeah.
because I've spoken so much in this conversation, but I think it stems from me being excited about what I'm talking about and passionate, I suppose. Passionate and excited are kind of similar on that front. But I think lately I've really just wanted to, I have so many thoughts, excited thoughts that I want to let it out, and the easiest way to let it out is to talk about it because it's quick. I can instantly communicate to someone, this is my idea. Let me tell you about it. Like I'm so excited to tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if we had to hit those three words, that's where I am at the moment. But that said, who knows what three words I'd pick in another 6 months' time.
The last two are about the viewers.
Okay.
How do you feel that the verticals are getting so much attention around the world?
I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. Like it's really, really cool. Um I don't do it that much anymore, but I used to live stream my Minecraft. I say I don't do it anymore. I literally did it last night. But I used to live stream on Twitch, and then I did a bit of live stream on YouTube. I did a live stream on TikTok. I did that for a number of years while I was still an accountant, and then as I was getting acting started, that's what I did in my free time. And something that was always really fun for me was I would ask my viewers in the middle of stream, I'd be like, all right, everyone put the time in. Whatever time it is for you, write that in the chat. And I would have like 13 different time zones represented. And that was just crazy. It's like I'm streaming, it's like, I don't know, 2 a.m. for me because it's the middle of the night. And what other time am I gonna be like gaming online? And then someone's like, oh yeah, it's like 3 p.m. I'm just sitting down having a late lunch. And I'm like, bro, it's like it's morning for me. And that's just such a cool thing, you know? It's such a cool thing. And I think that that is very similar in the vertical world. But beyond the time zones, I mean the amount of cultures, so the amount of people with different language and different culture, and different values, and the way that the fans from one culture would receive a vertical versus another culture, and the different themes that they might respond differently to, you know. One of the great things about me doing work in Australia and then also in China is I've now got so much empathy and understanding for the differences between just those two cultures. And we're talking about the global reach of verticals, which is
Yeah.
hundreds of different cultures. And even in the same country, you've got different cultures. So I'm geeking out a little bit here. But what I mean to kind of get across is that, like, it's so amazing how diverse the fans are. I think that's awesome. Its verticals are not just for like one demographic. They literally have reached all across the globe, all different walks of life, all different cultures. And I think it's really awesome to bring in kind of what you're doing with your fan account and all the other fan accounts that I've been blessed enough to chat to on Instagram. Is like you can see even in your comment section of like the people from different cultures commenting on things, and it's a place for people to come together, and that's a beautiful part of what verticals are doing, which I don't think was ever intended in verticals. I think they were just intended as just content,
Yeah.
but the community that has like been built around it has brought so many people together. They've been excited about a common thing, and that's just a beautiful thing in life in general when people can come together and talk. Like we literally are only having this conversation because of what's happened in the industry so far. And the people who may jump in the comment section, same thing. And I think that connection is a very beautiful thing, and it's brilliant.
Do you talk to a few fan accounts next to me then?
Yeah, yeah. I spoke to Jen from Vertical Drama Love on Monday,
Yesterday, right?
so 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I was going to chat to Cass, which is Miss Vertical Shorts. So I was going to chat to her yesterday, but then I had a thing come up, so
Yeah.
I wasn't able to. But we've just rescheduled, so we'll do that later. Um,
She told that.
and yeah, I'll yeah, and I'll probably at some point have a chat to Lisa and Vertical Drama Queen as well. I mean, I've messaged all of those accounts quite a few times, all those wonderful people running those. Um, but yeah, no, I love to chat about it. As you've found, I'm sure, talkative. I love chatting about the industry because I am just so excited about it. It's a very cool thing.
Yeah, I can see that. You will have a lot of fun talking to Lisa. She is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, very excited.
I talked to her a lot about the verticals.
Great. That's awesome. But that's another connection,
Yeah,
right? That's what we're talking about with like you bond over a common interest in something. And I think that's probably if I had to pick the best part of the industry, the way that it builds those network connections.
and I know Guess is excited for this one to drop.
I'm excited as well.
The last one is kind of same question. If you want to say something to the viewers who are watching this,
I think
or
I
no?
think I want to say thank you. Yeah, just thank you. Like my career is literally built on you guys. You guys are the supporters of not just myself, of all the actors, of the producers, the directors. We all are able to kind of work and do what we love because of you guys. And I think that that's something that I can never thank you enough for. It's like it genuinely was life changing me going from accounting to acting, and I think the vertical fan base that has developed and the community that is being built around verticals that we were discussing earlier, like it's unreal. It really is unreal, and it's the reason that myself and many other actors across the world, like in LA or in Australia or wherever it may be, we are able to like have so much fun and do the career that we are truly passionate about because of you guys. So thank you.
You're welcome. And those were all the questions.
Beautiful. It's great.
So yeah, that's. I wanted to say thank you for doing this with me. I love
No,
it.
thank you. I had a lot of fun.
So, yeah. Do you want to say something more, or do you want to wrap?
Um, I mean, just another personal thanks to yourself for having me on, for hosting me, for compiling what I saw was quite a long list of questions, and for taking the time yourself to speak to me and show interest in all the crazy ideas that I have about the vertical industry and hearing me kind of ramble about how excited I am for the future. So I appreciate the time you've taken as well to have me on board. But yeah, beyond that, I wish you all the best for the future too.
Of course.
And as you grow your account and as you set those new goals, because you've already beaten the goals that you set for yourself, which is amazing. Um, but yeah, as you go to do that, I wish you all the best, and then I hope you hit those goals that you're gonna set, and then you set new ones, then you hit those too, and keep the ball rolling, and yeah,
Yeah.
excited to see where we go in the future, both of us.
Yeah, me too.